Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and we've got another round of Premier League games to predict in this festive period. And I've got one big prediction this set of games, the halfway stage as well, game week 19, 38 games in a Premier League season, so we are halfway through, and I think we're going to lose another team in the title race. Man City are gone, we know that, they were the favourites at the start, they're gone. Obviously Arsenal beat Ipswich last night, Chelsea dropped points, Man City lost, Liverpool won, so at the moment the top two looks like it's Liverpool and Arsenal, 6 points separate them, but Liverpool have got the game in hand. All of those top three go away. In fact, I think all of the top four go away because Forest go away. In fact, all of the top five go away. All of the top six go away. All of the top seven go away. I don't know what Fulham are doing. Fulham are... What are Fulham doing? Fulham are at home. So the top seven are all away. So we're going to get some movers and shakers, that's for sure. Our featured game will be West Ham against Liverpool, which is tomorrow at 5:15. Looking forward to that. Could West Ham do anything? I don't know, but where I think it ends, and look, this is not my news, this is for you to get your comments in. I think the last set of fixtures for me, by the way, PGMOL, absolute joke. So many bad decisions over the Boxing Day fixtures. The red card for Duran. Again, I don't really understand what's happening on corners as well. It started a year ago, and it basically, you can barge a goalkeeper now, and it's sort of got a bit silly on corners. I think they've created this scenario that they're going to have to fix at some point. You can't just keep putting balls on top of the goalkeeper, shoving them, and it ended up going in. I think they need to do something about that. But I also think as well, just let me just talk about Arsenal. I think this is where it ends for Arsenal. I watched the Ipswich Arsenal game last night and only 1-0. It could have been more, but realistically, this could have been more makes it even worse. I think it might have been better for Arsenal if it had just been a scrappy 1-0. The fact that it could have been more and it was only one. No Saka now for a few weeks. We know they need a striker. And I think this is where they're going to start facing problems. We'll be doing the watch-along on New Year's Day, which is the last game of this game week fixture 19. It's Brentford at home to Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal win that. And I think Liverpool beat West Ham. And then that gap just becomes... I already think it's too big. I don't put Arsenal in the title race. But for the benefit of the Premier League, obviously it's not over yet, but I think this is where Arsenal are going to drop points. I think they'll drop points against Brentford, and I think they then play, Arsenal fans can correct me on this, I think you might be away against Brighton after that. So I think Arsenal are going to start dropping points now with no real goal threat and no Saka. So, you know, who can catch Liverpool? I don't think anybody can, if I'm being completely honest. But that's the challenge to Liverpool. That's the challenge to Arsenal. Maybe Chelsea can pick up the pieces again. But look, Liverpool to me at the moment are the best side. I said that yesterday. Everybody else is playing catch-up. And you know what? I just want to take a second to say what a remarkable season it's been. Nobody would have predicted this at Christmas, in August, that at Christmas we'd have a definitive favourite and we'd be writing the likes of Man City off and potentially Arsenal as well. I don't think anybody was going to predict that. It's been an incredible season so far. And that is evidenced by the likes of Forest and Bournemouth being in the top six. We'll talk about some of the fixtures in a minute, but I just wanted to say as well, as we approach the end of the year, I think that one of my takeaways from 2025, and I want you to just get in the comments, what's been your biggest annoyance in football in 2025? And I think one of the recurring things for me has always been VAR, PGMOL, the volume of games, etc. But one of the big things that really is starting to irritate me is the hyping up of the quality of football in the Premier League, and yet every game week a lot of goals are coming from meaningless playing out from the back. We glow up this coaching ability in the Premier League, and I actually don't think it's that good. I don't think football is that difficult. I think we've got people out there who are almost making careers out of being a hipster and trying to overanalyze football, and I just don't. In 40 years, I've never seen the need for that. I think I've seen loads of different styles of football, and I think they're all very, very simplistic. And I think we are still in this era of almost, people should have seen this coming. Pep ball is being, exposed. But so many other teams have modelled their game on Pep ball. This passing between the lines, playing out from the back, structure. And the antidote to that is individualism. And we've seen it with players that get the ball and take people on and break the structures. I think there needs to be an evolution of football, and I think good coaching would take that away. We've seen the likes of Vincent Kompany and Russell Martin come into the Premier League with a Pep style of football and be absolutely exposed and almost cheered as they get this job, as they get sacked because they were purists. But I don't think they're purists. I think they're copycats, and I think it's a style of football that actually isn't very pure. I think the amount of times you see it in the lower leagues as well, teams passing out from the back. This is not some moralistic crusade, and it's not actually that attractive. How many percentage of goals actually are conceded because of people trying to play out from the back? And teams have become better at pressing. I'm not saying we need to go back to Big Sam football, but there are ways of playing out from the back without, exposing yourselves and trying to pass between the lines. There are a multitude of ways of playing, and this hipster approach of how this is so clever the way Pep's done this and it's been architectured and people have copied it. What's wrong with a nice little accurate? I think one aspect of goalkeeping that we've completely and utterly lost is the throw out. The throw out can be better than a kick out. It's quicker. It can be more accurate. Peter Schmeichel was brilliant at it. I personally think a goalkeeper getting the ball out their hands and throwing it out wide to a winger who controls it, lays it off, beats a lot of the press. I'm not saying that the goalkeeping throw out is the way back to changing football, but what I'm saying is we're seeing it with the likes of Morgan Rogers and others, the ability to take on people and break structures. And I think football needs to evolve, and I think too many coaches are obsessed with playing out from the back because Pep did it. And football's very, very simple. I mean, look, I'm not even opposed to a long 40-yard ball into someone like Chris Wood, who will beat most people in the air, hold the ball up, and you win the second ball. What's wrong with that? I think there's an evolution in football, and it needs to happen, and that's what proper coaching should be all about. Anyway, what's annoyed you about 2024, I meant to say, not 2025. Okay, so Leicester Man City is the first game of the weekend. It's tomorrow at 2:30 for some reason. I would say that Man City will win that. I mean, that we talk about the end, by the way, and I think it could be the end for Arsenal if they don't beat Brentford, which is my prediction. But it's definitely the end down the bottom of the table. Leicester are now in the bottom three, Ipswich and Southampton. We've got a big problem here. The Premier League have created this. I don't know how they solve it, but the gap between the Championship and the Premier League is ridiculous. I think in previous seasons, Leicester might have a chance of staying up, but the likes of West Ham and Everton and Crystal Palace have predictably got the talent and experience to start grinding the points that are needed to stay up, and Leicester have now dropped, and Wolves have as well, and now Leicester have dropped in. They don't have the squad, they don't have the experience, and they will go down. So it'll be 3 up, 3 down again. Man City will get a win there. I'll be stunned if they don't beat Leicester, but we have been stunned quite a lot by Man City. Crystal Palace, Southampton. Again, if you're playing Southampton, it's 3 points for Crystal Palace. They've been doing a lot better recently. Goodison Park, Everton against Forest. Might not be the game that many people would take a lot of notice of, but when you look at the league table, a win for Forest and no win for Arsenal, which is what I'm predicting, could put Forest into second place, maybe even third place if Chelsea win. So that's going to be very interesting. Can Forest go to Goodison Park and win? Because those are the sort of games where the pressure's off a little bit. When you're playing the bigger teams like Old Trafford, etc., and you win, there's a lot of, it's a shock. Really, Forest on form should be going to Everton and winning. I think that'll be a draw. Fulham against Bournemouth is, again, low-key, quite a big Premier League game. Both in the top half, 8th against 6th. A win for Fulham puts them above Bournemouth. Hard game to predict. Bournemouth had a draw against Palace on Boxing Day, which was a little bit disappointing for them. But they're just such a good side, I'm going to go with a score draw there. But Fulham were very good against Chelsea. That could go either way. Tottenham Wolves. I would think Tottenham will win this, and I might be in the minority, but I would predict that Tottenham win this because Wolves have had a bit of luck. They've taken 6 points in the new manager's first 2 games, but I think they have been lucky. Leicester made 3 big errors and were 3-0 down at half-time against them. and Man United had a man sent off and then didn't defend a corner. So I think at home, Spurs bounce back win might be quite a big win. I'm going to go 3-0 to Spurs. West Ham Liverpool we'll be doing as a watch along tomorrow at 5 o'clock, 5:15 kickoff. I'm going to say Liverpool win that. West Ham don't impress me. Liverpool do. And I think Liverpool will have too much quality for West Ham, but we will see. You never know. In this festive period, sometimes you do get shocks. Into Monday, 3 games around 8 o'clock. I'll be on the United stand doing Man United against Newcastle, which we'll talk about in a moment. But Villa entertain Brighton. Interesting game. Brighton in 10th place, Villa in 9th place. Both not where they should be. And this sort of game is a kickstart for them. Villa very unlucky against Newcastle. Brighton have been on a terrible run recently. I'm going to go with a Villa win at home. Ipswich, Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea stumbling 1 point from 6 against Everton and against Fulham. They won't be happy about that. It would be really bad if they didn't go to Ipswich and win, who are full of heart, full of endeavour, but not quality. Chelsea win. They're normally good on the road. Man United, Newcastle. This is terrible. I mean, Newcastle are in a really good position where if they go to Old Trafford and win, they are in a very good position to be getting in the top 5 this year, which I wasn't predicting. I think Newcastle have steadily gone about their business. There's been lots of talk of Eddie Howe losing his job, and yet here they are, renaissance again. When Newcastle have got all their players, they're a good side. I just think they struggle when they get injuries. They should be winning this game at Old Trafford in light of the fact that Bournemouth and Forest have won there in their last 2 games at Old Trafford. Newcastle should be coming to Old Trafford and winning, especially when Man United won't have Bruno Fernandes or Ugarte through suspension. This should be a win for Newcastle, and I hate to say it, but I think it will be. Newcastle 1 or 2-0. I think Man United are really struggling at the moment. And then that leaves us with the Brentford-Arsenal game, which is not on New Year's Eve. There's no game on New Year's Eve at all. Arsenal complete the round on the 1st, which is Wednesday, at 5:30. We'll be doing a watch-along for that. And I'm going to go with the Brentford win. I think Brentford are not in the top half at the moment, but have been very, very good at home. They've only lost 1 at home, and that was obviously very, very recently against Forest. But I think Arsenal's struggling to score goals at the moment. Brentford don't struggle to score goals at home normally. I'm going to go with the Brentford win in that. And Arsenal's next game is Brighton on Saturday at 5:30. So it could be a very tough week for Arsenal. That's my prediction. Get your comments in. Let me know what you think. I think it's going to end with Liverpool opening up a bigger gap on 2nd place and us potentially losing another title contender. I think Arsenal are going to drop out this weekend. What are your thoughts, Arsenal? And I think that is because you've got no Saka and you've got no striker, by the way. That's why I think it's going to be a very, very tough game for Arsenal on Wednesday. Take care, everyone. Smash a like on the video. And don't forget to tell me in the comments what's your biggest irritant in 2024 in football. Speak to you all in a bit.